is the AMF, Canada Post Air Mail Facility. Many of the processes dispatchers perform here are unique to this section. The following instructional video was designed to introduce you to the AMF workflow and prepare you to learn the specialized skills you will need to be a productive member of our team.
In most facilities, it is rare for MMHE to share space with pedestrians, but in the AMF, sharing space with vehicles is by necessity a common occurrence. With that in mind, we'd like to start with safety around MMHE. In the AMF, MMHE is constantly navigating through walkways and in and out of drive aisles to the work floor. As we can see here, long strings of mail come from outside, passing through walkways to be staged for offload. Forklifts are employed with dispatchers on foot to reorient air cans for processing. Stackers must enter and exit the work area to stage monos, as well as stacking and dispatching sorted mail. Long chains of carts or large air cans pulled by Motrex can often obscure sightlines. We do our best to mitigate the risks by always observing stop signs, making use of mirrors placed strategically at intersections, and as much as possible, communicating our direction and intent to other dispatchers, whether on foot or on MMHE. Fluids may leak from MMHE. If you encounter spills on the work floor, find the nearest spill kit and generously spread sawdust over the fluid. Once the liquid is absorbed, be sure to sweep it up and dispose of it. And we often have to deal with water pooling on the work floor, which can affect both footing and the traction of machines. Here we see a typical interaction at one of our main intersections. Note the driver and pedestrian make eye contact. The driver comes to a complete stop and signals with the horn before he crosses the intersection. Ground handlers bring mail from incoming flights to the AMF. They use the MRD, the mail registration device, in the cargo yard to confirm delivery to Canada Post. Incoming cans and carts will be affixed with an MRD label by the ground handlers. All incoming mail needs to be scanned in accordance with the International Postal System. Dispatchers have the choice of using handheld or finger scanners to accomplish this task. Both are simple to use, one-button operation. To link a scanner for use, simply scan the barcode on the base station. The scanner will flash blue and then green to indicate it was paired successfully. To begin processing, scan the start barcode of the MRD label. Then proceed to scan each individual article of mail, be it a bag or a parcel. When the can or cart has been emptied, scan the stop barcode of the MRD label to close the receptacle. Whenever the dispatcher is done scanning, the data on the IPS terminal is uploaded using F2 or F3. Let's get ourselves sorted out. That is to say, let's have a look at sorting procedures and consolidating mail. Thousands of bags, letters, packets, and parcels go through the AMF on a daily basis, and it all has to be scanned and sorted by product type. So how do we identify them? Barcodes containing the designation AEM or AEN are for EMS products. Codes with ACN, or less commonly ACB, are parcels. A barcode containing AUN, AUL, AUR, or AUV coding belongs to the AO or packet mail stream. Coding for express products is indicated with an AUX. In addition to flight and origin information, most tags will also include their weight in kilos. Although 22.5 kilos is the upper limit throughout Canada Post, in the AMF, dispatchers will have to deal with weights of up to 31.7 kilos or 70 pounds. As always, follow safe lifting procedures and seek help from a coworker with heavier items. Mistakes happen, of course, and the AMF will often receive mail meant for other countries. Note the destination in the center of the tag and the destination code in the bottom right. IPC group countries send letter mail to the AMF in small tubs called IPC trays. They're easily identified by their black lids and navy blue bottoms. They come tagged with a G code or a P code. G codes indicate oversized letters destined for Gateway West. P codes designate standard letters going to the South Central facility. Mail arrives on the AMF work floor in all sorts of containers collectively known as ULDs, or unit load devices. It can arrive piled on PMCs, or pallets as they're more commonly known. AKEs, or air cans as we call them, are another typical conveyance. Air cans will arrive on single or double dollies, either side by side or back to back as shown here. You can also expect covered and uncovered baggage trailers. We refer to these simply as carts. This is an example of a covered cart. PMCs hold loose-loaded mail that is restrained in place by a form-fitting cargo net. Additionally, disposable plastic wrap, rope, or tape are often used to protect and secure the mail. Once a PMC has been staged on the work floor, these protective layers must be removed to prepare it for sortation. The netting needs to be detached. The cargo net is held in place by several double-studded fittings anchored to the pallet seat track on each side. To detach, simply pull up on the tab and push the fitting to the side, and it should come loose easily from the seat track. Proceed to detach the fittings from the seat track on 3 sides of the PMC, leaving the cargo net fixed on one of the long sides. Often, cargo nets will have red flags indicating a permanently fixed side. Once the netting is detached on 3 sides, it must be carefully lifted up and rolled off the PMC. Be sure to tuck the net underneath the dolly to avoid tripping hazard. Next, remove the plastic wrap. This will often be arranged in multiple layers. If the plastic wrap is also underneath the contents, simply tuck it into the sides of the PMC until it is emptied. The wrapping is then bundled up and put into the large recycling bins for disposal. The PMC is now prepped for offload and sortation. Exercise caution when opening up any air can or other ULD. They are often brimming with mail, and even well-packed contents can shift in transit. Always practice safe lifting, and be sure to utilize a team lift technique whenever necessary. You need to be especially diligent about this in the AMF. We deal routinely with unwieldy, heavy, and bulky items. Dispatchers here are often required to lift from overhead positions and pull or reach in awkward ways. Once a conveyance has been cleared of mail and sorted, it's always a good idea to consolidate like products to make efficient use of monos and make them easier and safer to dispatch. The majority of air cans arrive on towable dollies like this one. The green handles activate and deactivate the air can restraints on each side. The red handle can be set in the up position to fix the air can in place for transport, or in the down position to allow the air can to be spun. The tow bar, or tongue as it's more commonly known, can be tilted up to engage the pallet brakes, securing the dolly in place. Here's an example of an air can being spun around for processing. The red handle is put down to allow the can to spin. Always be sure to re-engage the air can restraints using the green handles on either side before accessing the can. Sometimes parcels arrive a little worse for wear from their long journey. We do our best to tape up damaged packaging, or use damaged goods bags to keep their contents together for processing. When opening air cans, take care to fold up and stow the door flap securely. Otherwise, it could fall and cause injury. After clearing a pallet of mail, the netting needs to be placed back on the PMC. Throwing the netting down haphazardly can create dangerous levels of noise, so be sure to put it down gently and neatly. Occasionally, we are required to sort an aircan of EMS product for dispatch to Gateway. To do this, the MRD label is scanned, as well as the EMS manifest which details the contents. The mail inside is then sorted into monos, tagged, and labeled with the aircan's unique identifier to ensure the contents are processed together. The EMS manifest is also attached before being dispatched to Gateway. Flight recording and tagging. It is important to keep accurate record of what enters the AMF for processing and when. This is the job of the flight recorder. The flight recorder logs the time conveyances entered the facility and the flight number they arrived on. The number of cans, carts, AMJs, or PMCs being offloaded is also recorded. The unique alphanumeric ID can be found on the outside of each conveyance. The flight recorder will often have to open a conveyance to confirm its contents and figure out its flight number. Once mail has been offloaded and sorted by product types into monos, it is also the flight recorder's responsibility to tag the monos for dispatch. To do so, the recorder takes stock of which products have been sorted and prints the tags using the NRCS. The flight recorder will then tag the monos for dispatch, keeping a running tally of how many monos have been processed. EMS aircans may be sent directly to the adjacent Vista facility for processing. Such aircans can be identified by their attached EMS manifest detailing their contents. The flight recorder logs the time of arrival and unique identifier of the EMS aircan as they would normally. Then the flight recorder scans start on the MRD label. They scan the EMS manifest barcode and then stop on the MRD label to complete the scanning process. The EMS aircan is then tagged for dispatch by forklift to Vista. Now let's talk about mono movement and staging. Stackers are the ideal vehicle for staging monos next to aircans and carts to offload mail. Typically, the contents of one aircan will break down into 4 monos or so. AMF supervisors will indicate whether different product types are to be dispatched to the dock, staged in the AMF, or sent next door to Vista for processing. Once mail has been sorted and tagged, dispatchers will stack the monos, being careful to ensure all latches are closed and the stack is stable, before staging it as directed. Here we see an operator stacking and staging mail to the AMF staging area. If another employee is still in the immediate vicinity, do not attempt to stack or dispatch monos until they have completed their task.
No, Don, I'm working here.
And are clear of the area. Let's talk about the dock. Most PO5s are familiar with this sequence. A 5-ton truck arrives to the dock. Its driver backs it in expertly, chocks their tires, and goes inside. After engaging the dock lock, they open the dock doors, then the truck's door. After securing the dock leveler, the driver gives the green light, signaling the lip of the ramp is in the trailer. Even though drivers are trained to apply wheel chocks before entering, you should always check to make sure both wheels have been chocked before loading and unloading. Try to drive on and off the truck bed with your stacker in a central position on the dock leveler or ramp. Avoid the edges of the ramp as much as possible until you're level with the floor again. The dispatcher assigned to the dock is responsible for loading trucks bound for other facilities, typically Gateway or the SCLPP. For every truckload, the dispatcher will fill out Surface Transport Report or STR. They will note the tour number, contents, and the time of the dispatch on the dock's log sheet, and then turn in the pink copy of the STR to the supervisor for entry into the C3 system. With trailers, the forklift operator is often called on for assistance, such as with offloading collapsed monos. This is ideal as the forklift offers some protection for its operator while lifting large stacks. Large stacks of collapsed monos, 8 to 10 high being typical, should be immediately split into stacks of 5 or less before being moved away from the dock area. You should inspect the trailer or truck bed before loading. Sometimes the position of the dock leveler lip is less than ideal, causing it to pop up slightly like we see here. Driving over the ramp normally can result in jarring impact, especially if the stacker is under load. It's best to navigate this situation with the driving forks lifted up a few inches to provide some clearance, moving forward slowly and steadily over the gap. The AMF has exterior-facing docks and brings in mail from the cargo yard outside. Rain, ice, and snow come with it. The dock plates in the floor often become wet and slick. This is of particular concern while operating a stacker, which is susceptible to dangerous loss of traction in wet conditions. Be sure to maintain slow speeds, accelerate or stop gradually, and turn as smoothly as possible. Failure to do so can put you in a perilous position quickly. The STR procedure is slated to be phased out in favor of a scan of vehicle or STV process using a portable data terminal or PDT. First, the dock dispatcher will enter the tour number, dock number, trailer or truck number, and details into the form as prompted. Then the dispatcher scans the tags of the monos to be loaded, and proceeds to load the trailer or truck. When loading is complete, the dispatcher will print an STR. One copy goes to the carrier or driver, one copy for the dispatch office or AMF supervisor, and the third copy for the arrival office or destination. Once the driver is underway, the dock dispatcher will press the dispatch button on their PDT to finalize the operation.
This presentation was meant to introduce you to the AMF and provide an overview of our typical processes and procedures. This is by no means a detailed or exhaustive explanation of all the duties here, but we hope it gives you a good idea what to expect in this facility. Of course, dispatchers new to the AMF can rely on the rest of the team for additional instruction. Thanks for watching.